A basketball legend thought he could dismiss what he called a nerdy kid's silly app idea. What he didn't know was that this teenager was about to revolutionize how millions of people watch basketball. Forever. And when you see what happens next, you'll never underestimate a young person's vision again. Before we dive into this incredible story that changed the entire sports industry, let us know where you're watching from in the comments below and smash that subscribe button, because tomorrow we have another mind-blowing story that will restore your faith in innovation. It was a sunny afternoon in May 2018 at a tech conference in San Francisco when 17-year-old Marcus Chen made the biggest pitch of his young life. The Tech Innovation Summit at the Moscone Center was buzzing with energy. Hundreds of entrepreneurs, investors, and tech giants had gathered to witness the next generation of breakthrough technologies. Among the attendees was Shaquille O'Neal, the legendary NBA center who had successfully transitioned into business and investing after his Hall of Fame career. At 7 feet 1 inches and with his commanding presence, Shaq drew attention wherever he went. He'd built a reputation as a shrewd businessman, investing in everything from restaurant chains to tech startups. But like many traditional athletes turned investors, he often favored businesses he could easily understand: real estate, food, and brick-and-mortar concepts. On the other side of the conference hall stood Marcus Chen, a 17-year-old high school senior from Palo Alto. Thin, wearing thick glasses and a slightly wrinkled button-down shirt, Marcus looked exactly like what people stereotypically imagined when they heard teenage tech nerd. He'd been coding since he was 12, and basketball had been his passion for just as long. Marcus had spent the last 2 years developing something he believed could change sports forever: an AI-powered app that could predict basketball plays in real time, provide instant analytics, and create personalized viewing experiences for fans. He called it Court Vision, and today was his chance to pitch it to potential investors. Marcus had been waiting for hours for his 5-minute pitch slot when he noticed Shaquille O'Neal standing near the investor panel. His heart raced. Here was his idol, someone who understood basketball better than almost anyone alive. If he could get Shaq to believe in his vision, everything would change. Gathering his courage, Marcus approached the basketball legend during a break. "Mr. O'Neal, sir, I'm Marcus Chen. I've developed an app that I think could revolutionize how people experience basketball, and I'd love to get your thoughts on it." Shaq looked down at the teenager, his expression politely amused. "Oh yeah? What's it do, kid?" Marcus launched into his pitch, his words tumbling out rapidly with nervous excitement. "It uses machine learning to analyze player movements and predict plays before they happen. Fans can get real-time stats, probability calculations, and even compare current players to historical legends like yourself. It's like having a basketball genius in your pocket." Shaq listened for about 30 seconds before his attention began to wander. He looked around the room, clearly unimpressed. "Kid," Shaq interrupted with a chuckle, "I appreciate the enthusiasm, but basketball isn't about algorithms and computers. It's about heart, athleticism, and instinct. You can't capture what makes the game special with some nerdy app." Marcus felt his face flush, but he pressed on. "But sir, imagine if fans could understand the game the way you do. The app could explain why certain plays work, predict momentum shifts, even help young players learn." "Listen," Shaq said, his voice carrying a dismissive tone that several nearby investors could hear. "I've been in this game for decades. Real basketball fans don't need some computer telling them what's happening. They feel it. You're trying to solve a problem that doesn't exist." The conversation was drawing attention now. Other attendees began to slow their conversations, sensing something happening. "You seem like a smart kid," Shaq continued, "but maybe focus on something more realistic. Basketball and technology just don't mix that way. Save your parents' money and find a more practical idea." Marcus stood there, holding his laptop with the app prototype, feeling completely deflated. The dismissal wasn't just professional, it felt personal. His idol had just told him his dream was worthless. But Marcus didn't give up. Over the next 3 years, he poured every spare moment into perfecting Court Vision. He worked with basketball coaches, studied thousands of hours of game footage, and refined his algorithms until they could predict plays with 89% accuracy. By 2021, Court Vision had caught the attention of major sports networks. ESPN licensed the technology for their broadcasts. Then came TNT, Fox Sports, and finally, the NBA itself. The app that Shaq had dismissed as a nerdy kid's silly idea was now powering the real-time analytics for every major basketball broadcast in America. Fans could see exactly what Marcus had envisioned: instant play predictions, historical comparisons, and insights that made them feel like basketball geniuses. Marcus's company was valued at $500 million, and he'd become the youngest person ever to sign a technology partnership with the NBA. Then came the phone call that would change everything. "Marcus, this is Shaquille O'Neal." Marcus was sitting in his company's Silicon Valley headquarters when his assistant told him that Shaq was on the line. His first thought was that someone was playing a prank. "I owe you an apology." Shaq's voice came through the phone, humble and sincere. "I saw what Court Vision did during the playoff broadcasts. My own kids were using your app to understand the game better. I was completely wrong about you and your vision." Marcus took a deep breath. "I appreciate you calling, Mr. O'Neal." "Look," Shaq continued, "I'd like to invest in your company, if you'll have me. And more than that, I want to learn from you. You saw something I couldn't see, and you were right." The conversation lasted an hour. By the end, not only had Shaq become a major investor in Court Vision, but he'd also become one of Marcus's biggest advocates, helping bridge the gap between traditional basketball and new technology. This incredible story shows that innovation can come from the most unexpected places, and that believing in young visionaries can change entire industries. Speaking of unexpected success stories, you won't believe what happens when a teacher dismisses a quiet student's science project, not knowing it would later win the Nobel Prize. That story will blow your mind. Check it out, right here. If stories like this inspire you to never give up on your dreams, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because we share these game-changing stories every day. Your support means everything to us. For more stories about young innovators changing the world, check out our inspiration playlist right there. Remember, today's crazy idea might be tomorrow's world-changing innovation. See you in the next story.